A 9-year roller coaster NFL career is finally seeing Geno Smith hit the heights that no one saw coming. Here is the rise of Geno Smith. To understand the magnitude of the rise, it's only befitting that we see how high Geno Smith was propped up to eventually be torn down. Geno's climb to stardom began in West Virginia. He was the Mountaineers' starting quarterback from his sophomore year. He threw for 2,763 yards and had 24 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Modest to good numbers for a 19-year-old quarterback playing against other college players. But the numbers were just a benchmark for what Geno Smith would do in the following seasons. As a junior, he threw for 4,385 yards, scoring 31 touchdowns, and again had 7 interceptions. That's 1,622 passing yards more, resulting in 7 more touchdowns. Smith would continue to improve in his senior year, where he had his highest pass completion percentage of 71.2%. He again threw for over 4,000 yards and scored 42 touchdowns and had 6 interceptions. Constant, steady, and perhaps meteoric improvements from a college Geno who had real aspirations of making it to the NFL. His offensive coordinator at West Virginia, Shannon Dawson, had this to say about Geno's demeanor. "I never got the sense he was a diva or pampered or anything in my involvement with him. I never had one problem with him other than he watched too much film." It's clear from how the coach spoke that Geno Smith is a serious athlete who wants to do well. Geno isn't concerned with the flash and fame that some athletes tend to gravitate towards. He just wants to play ball, and he couldn't wait to do so for an NFL team. But waiting was all he could do since Geno wasn't selected in the first round. In fact, only one quarterback was, and he's now retired. E.J. Manuel was selected by the Bills 16th overall, while Geno was picked by the Jets 39th overall. It was certainly a wake-up call for Geno, who reacted by firing his agents, went on a media offensive, and defended himself against the critics. Shannon Dawson was quick to stick up for Geno. "He's going to play for a long time. I think the Jets are going to be more happy that they have him. He's going to work his butt off. It's almost a positive for the Jets organization because if everything would have gone smoothly and he had been picked in the top 5, he probably wouldn't be as motivated as he is right now. In my talks with him after the draft, he's so fired up right now to prove this jerk wrong that he's going to work and do it." So the fight and work Geno did, especially in his first NFL season with the Jets, where he started every game going 8 for 8 on the season. But that was the only real highlight of his season. He threw for over 3,000 yards, but had 21 interceptions and only 12 touchdowns. 9 more interceptions than touchdowns would normally signal the end of your career. But Geno Smith was given a second chance. Everyone deserves one, right? In his second season, Geno played in 14 games and lost 10. His pass completion percentage was up slightly from his rookie season, just under 4%, and this time threw as many touchdowns as he did interceptions, 13. What was worrisome is that there were no signs of major improvement, and Geno was relegated to the bench. The lack of productivity also sparked a feud between Geno and then head coach of the Jets, Rex Ryan. This is what Ryan had to say when asked about Geno Smith. "I love Geno Smith. Great guy. I just don't want him playing quarterback for me." To which Geno replied, "I did see one of my ex-coaches say he didn't want me to be his quarterback, and that really upset me. The guy that we saved his job in 2013. We fought our butts off for him both years. For him to come out and say that shows how much of a coward he is." Clearly, no love lost between the two, and that sometimes happens when two competitive individuals both want to win and end up blaming one another when they're losing. But Geno Smith wasn't casting blame. He was just merely defending his talents and skills that were clearly underutilized under the Rex Ryan regime. More fuel was placed in the fire when Rex Ryan threw more remarks about Geno Smith to the media when he was asked who was more responsible for the Patriots dynasty, Tom Brady or Bill Belichick. It was definitely Tom Brady. Let's see how Belichick would have done with someone such as Geno Smith at quarterback. Obviously, Geno Smith wasn't going to let Rex Ryan besmirch his athletic ability and reputation, as he responded in a series of tweets where he said that Rex Ryan was a snake and should have been fired after 1 year. So we had to sit back for a while as Geno rode the bench for 2 seasons with the Jets, playing in only 3 games. One season with the Giants where he featured in 2 games, and he played 5 games as a bench player for the Los Angeles Chargers. In those 4 seasons, he threw the ball 96 times. That's average is only 1.5 attempts per game. Throwing the ball for 611 yards, that would make it 9.5 yards per season. He did have a decent touchdown to interception ratio, where he had 4 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, but suffice it to say that everyone connected to the NFL knew that Geno Smith was done being a relevant player. When asked about his career leading to being benched, Geno Smith had this to say: "Any competitor wouldn't be happy to be put in that situation, where you get a chance to play and then you are being pulled. But it's not because you're playing bad. So it is you are trying to figure out why. You have to understand things that happen in this business, and you gotta roll with it." And Geno did roll with it by being the backup to Russell Wilson in Seattle. He only played in 5 games, but 3 of those were starts, and his passing completion percentage was in the high 60s. 68.4% from 95 attempts. He even threw for 702 yards, which is 100 more than he managed in those previous 5 seasons. He also had 5 touchdowns and only 1 interception. Geno protected the ball and was rewarded with another year in Seattle, but this time without the star quarterback. It was meant to be a rebuilding year for the Seattle Seahawks, with Russell Wilson traded and 2 quarterbacks who have mostly been bench designated fighting for a chance to be the number 1 quarterback on a team that had little significance at the start of the season. Geno won the job and changed the entire mood of the team. He's leading the Seahawks to a 4-3 start when they should have no business being a team with a winning record. Geno Smith has completely revitalized his career, having a pass completion percentage of 73.5%. It's the best he's ever accomplished, and it's so high that those are elite numbers for any quarterback. To put that number into perspective, it's better than Matthew Stafford, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes. Geno Smith is the most accurate thrower of a ball and scored 11 touchdowns. This is proving to be a spectacular season for Geno Smith because statistically, he is the best quarterback in the NFL, and no one would have ever imagined it. There's no way anyone would have predicted such a leap in progression from a player that no one wanted on a team that was never given a chance. Smith is soaring to new heights, and the Geno bandwagon is collecting a lot of members. He's playing his heart out, and it shows that this moment means a lot to him, and here's hoping that it would never die out. So there's no question that young athletes can view Geno Smith's trajectory from being a star college player, being ignored severely in the draft, being trashed by his coach, being benched season after season, to becoming an elite quarterback in the golden age of quarterbacks where every team has at least one player coaches thought was better than Geno Smith. It was really a surprising ascent for the 9-year veteran quarterback, which is an inspiring journey. Do you believe in the Geno Smith hype? How far can he go along his path to redemption? Does he deserve to be an MVP candidate? Can the Seahawks reach the playoffs? Please let us know in the comments below, but before you go, you still want to watch some awesome NFL content like this? Please watch the next video that will pop on your screen.